A lot of dark types have received buffs in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. This video will be spoiler free of new Pokemon, but we'll be discussing moveset buffs as well as one new move and ability. Grimmsnarl now has access to Parting Shot, Urshifu can now Swords Dance to break any Pokemon, Hydreigon gets Stealth Rock, making its coverage somehow even better. Crocodile now has Gunk Shot, it can muscle its way past fairy types, and Umbreon becomes even stronger as a support Pokemon as it now gets Thunder Wave and Calm Mind. Some of these Pokemon got even more than what I mentioned, so let's step in and take a closer look. So as I said in the intro, Grimmsnarl did get access to Parting Shot. This is a huge tool for Grimmsnarl because it does have access to Prankster as its main ability. So now Parting Shot, and it gets this priority move, which is able to drop the opponent's attack and special attack stat by 1. To me, this is like an even better Incineroar, and I think this is going to get a lot of usage, especially in VGC, where Grimmsnarl was already a really good Pokemon with access to Taunt, Thunder Wave. In OU, you see Light Screen and Reflect the most. And Parting Shot just makes it a really nice pivot. Dark Fairy is fantastic typing, right? It's not weak to too much, barring like Fairy, Steel, and there's something else I'm forgetting here, but whatever the case is, Fairy, Steel, Poison, anyways. Grimmsnarl in general has always had a really good defensive typing. It's really nice for just switching into a bunch of different stuff, especially when Dark and Ghost are the most common offensive spammed moves in the game. Look at Gen 8 when Shadow Ball and Knockoff were so prominent. Grimmsnarl was great because it could tank both of those moves really well. I think Parting Shot's going to be really nice. You can run a lot of support stuff. You don't even need to run Taunt. You could probably run the screen set and then Parting Shot out on whatever you don't like. I think that Grimmsnarl can honestly run a Choice Bandit set with Parting Shot because its attack is base 120. So I think people people sleep on Grimmsnarl as a Choice Bandit. I really don't think it's that bad. It has access to Trick, I think. Yeah, so you can even run Trick. But Parting Shot is it's like your Grimmsnarl has U-turn, So if your opponent does have something that walls you, well, you can just Parting Shot out. So I really do think that this is going to be awesome. I'm really looking forward to using this too. I will be trying this out in OU for sure. Parting Shot can never be bad. So yeah, I think we're definitely going to see Parting Shot dual screen, and then I don't know, I think some type of Trick Parting Shot. You can even do Trick Lagging Tail Parting Shot. Because think about it, you trick them the lagging tail, then you can Parting Shot out really safely. They're all messed up, or you trick them like a Choice Specs to a wall, or a Choice Band to a wall, or whatever, and then Parting Shot out, getting the free turn. Only issue with Grimmsnarl is that, of course, Dark types are able to switch in on, your Prankster moves like Parting Shot, Thunder Wave, Taunt, that kind of thing. But of course, Dark types can't take a Stab, Play Rough, or Spirit Break. They're not good switch-ins to Grimmsnarl at all, so that's a risky play by your opponent. That being said, Grimmsnarl is going to be great. Parting Shot, I think, really makes this definitely boosts this thing in terms of effectiveness. We're going to see this a lot more as a result of this buff. So I'm excited to see what happens with Grimmsnarl for real in both OU and VGC. But I definitely think in VGC this is going to be a top tier meta threat, and then in OU, I mean, we might see it. I mean, Grimmsnarl, it's always had its issues that stopped it from being OU, but this is a big blessing. This is a big blessing. So with that, let's move on to the next guy. So we have none other than King Uber himself, Urshifu. You gotta tell me, why would they give this Swords Dance, folks? Why would they give this Swords Dance? You know what I'm saying? Why would they give this Swords Dance? Urshifu is already one of the strongest Pokemon of all time, and now for some reason they decided, you know what? Let's give this guy Swords Dance. Urshifu Single Strike, I think that's what this guy's called. Or is it called? No, I think this is called Single Strike. Yeah, the Dark type one. Sorry, I don't really know the names too well. But this one was always broken, right, in Gen 8. It got banned very quickly because its coverage was unbeatable. Its signature move, Wicked Blow, is ridiculously broken because it's an automatic crit, so it goes through any defense boosts. Dark type is one of the best offensive moves to spam, like I was saying, alongside Ghost. In general, Dark has always been one of the best offensive types, so all the buffs these mons got is fantastic. But yeah, the set I have here is Swords Dance, Sucker Punch, Close Combat, Wicked Blow, because I do believe that this will be the most common Urshifu set. You will see, some Scarf and Bandit still, but I honestly think that SD is the way to go with this. The set I used to run the most on Urshifu back when it was legal for the short time in Gen 8 was Bulk Up, Wicked Blow, Sucker Punch, and then I didn't even run Close Combat. I ran Iron Head. The thing is, now you might think, oh, it's crazy not to run Close Combat on Urshifu, but the idea was that Wicked Blow or +1 Wicked Blow basically kills every Steel type anyway, and then if you have Iron Head, you can kill the fairies that would be able to take on the Dark fighting coverage. And Urshifu definitely needs Sucker Punch and Wicked Blow, so you got to decide after that, what do you really want to run. Definitely, this coverage could be walled by some stuff, like Magirna, for example, is able to switch into this, but overall, I do think this is a pretty valid set. But yeah, I mean, we also will just, I don't know, man, SD or Shifu in general seems like, to me, this seems like one of the first mons to go. Like, it'll be one of the first to get banned, in my opinion. Urshifu, Urshifu Single Strike. Sorry, I keep forgetting the two. Rapid Strike is the one we play with right now all the time. But yeah, Urshifu Single Strike, this guy, it was super overpowered in the beginning of Gen 8, and for its whole time in Gen 8 before it got banned, it was clearly the best mon in the tier. And I think Swords Dance Urshifu will be no different, even with all the new offensive stuff we got in Gen 9. I think this thing's going to be broken. So yeah, SD seems like the most crazy thing they could have given this. That being said, I will be using SD Urshifu quite a bit. So, yep, let's move on to the next one. Before I go any further, I do want to say, guys, please do give this video a big like and subscribe if you haven't already. Trying to get this vid to 2K likes by tomorrow. You know, that's the goal. So go ahead and like this for real. Appreciate y'all. Now let's go on to the next guy. We have Weavile. Now, Weavile, you know, he's actually going against the title and the focus of this video. I'm going to tell you what's wrong with Weavile. My boy has been nerfed. He no longer has access to knockoff, and he no longer has access to triple axle. That is definitely a big deal. Not having knockoff is way bigger than not having triple axle, because there was times where I didn't even run Weavile with triple axle because I don't want to, you know, have a contact move, or I don't want to miss triple axle, and Ice Cold Crash is more efficient. But that being said, it lost knockoff, its most consistent stab move, an extremely strong move. It could hit the steel types, it can knock off items. I mean, it's why fairies weren't that good of a counter to Weavile anyway. Think about Tapu Fini. Think about how many times you have to switch your Tapu Fini into a choice banded Weavile. You take 30% from knockoff and you lost your leftovers. And you know in the back of your head, I'm fucked now. I gotta play really, really well. I gotta play really offensively. Otherwise, this thing is just gonna come up and beat everything. So now that this doesn't have knockoff, the only real stabs you can run are beat up, which I think we're gonna see on the choice band set every single time. I mean, we already saw beat up on the choice band set, but I think we're just gonna see that as the mono dark type move. I really think this is gonna be the set we see. Ice Shard, beat up, low kick, Ice Cold Crash. Basically, I mean, this has always been a great set. Choice banded Weavile, you can't go wrong. I just don't see the merit in running Throat Chop on choice banded Weavile now, because I mean, knockoff is amazingly consistent. Throat Chop is a very weak 80 base power move, so I don't see that happening. Weavile did get access to a new move that I referenced in the intro. The new move being Ice Spinner. It is a 80 base power physical ice move that does not miss. Ice Spinner, pretty cool. You know, it's just a little bit weaker than Ice Cold Crash, but it doesn't miss, which is nice. However, Ice Cold Crash does have 30% flinch, and I do think that Ice Cold Crash is one of the best risk reward moves in the entire game. 10% chance to miss with the 30% flinch trade-off is fantastic and usually worth the risk. So yeah, I do think Ice Cold Crash is one of the best moves in the game, period. But that being said, this new move Ice Spinner is fully 100% accurate, and it does remove terrain, which could come into play. But I don't know, I think Ice Cold Crash still might be better because the move Ice Spinner, I believe, makes contact with the opponent, so you'd be taking Rocky Helmets and Barbs and stuff like that. Anyways, Weavile, I'm happy to see that it did get nerfed. That being said, losing knockoff triple axle, I like that. You know, it was extremely dominating in Gen 8, almost to a really annoying degree. So I welcome this a lot. I think we'll see Swords Dance sets with knockoff Ice Spinner or knockoff Ice Cold Crash or whatever, but Weavile can never truly be bad, so it's nice that it got balanced a little bit. It's still going to be great, but yeah, they definitely took away its most spammable tools. Now, the next one is something I'm actually pretty damn excited to talk about. Hydreigon. Hydreigon was given Stealth Rock. I know. Very, very, very confusing. I don't know why they gave Hydreigon Stealth Rock, to be honest. Is confusing, but I'm not complaining at all. Hydreigon's one of my favorite Pokemon. You guys know this, Medusa. We've been using this mon in every single generation since Generation 5. And this has been one of the best mons ever. So, Stealth Rock, I think, is going to be really cool on Hydreigon. Hydreigon's already had some of the best coverage ever. Draco Meteor, Flash Cannon, Dark Pulse, Fire Blast. He has Surf. You can even go mixed with Outrage, Earthquake, Stone Edge, Superpower. Last gen it had Roost. It actually doesn't have Roost anymore. It's gonna lose Roost in the new gen, so that's something. But I do think Stealth Rock 3 attack definitely has some merit. Hydreigon has always had a cool speed tier at speed 98. That way it was able to outspeed Urshifu and Tapu Lele, which were big ass threats in the what's it called? Last generation. But Hydreigon's, you know, just a little bit faster than them. Like I said, you can kill Urshifu with Draco, and you can do a shit ton of damage to Lele with Flash Cannon. I think Hydreigon is just really, really good at forcing switch-ins, and so for that reason, you can get up Stealth Rock. A lot of, you know, Mons got nerfed in the coming gen. You know, they aren't able to defog and that kind of thing. So I think Hydreigon will be pretty nice at putting up rocks. I just think this Mon is good at forcing out switches, you know? Its speed tier is just good enough. It's very, very strong. 349 special attack is fantastic. Coverage is amazing. Flash Cannon is something I have here simply for Clefable or whatever fairies find prominence in the meta. But I do really, really like Fire Blast because Magearna is coming back. And if that thing is around, I want to be able to cook that thing with a Fire Blast. And in general, I just like hitting steals really hard. Dark Pulse doesn't really do much to steals. I want to make sure I cook steals. If I set up Stealth Rock with my Hydreigon, I don't want Corviknight to come in, take 45% from my Dark Pulse, and then I lose the 1v1 as they defog Body Press. I want to go for Fire Blast and straight up cook that thing. So, I don't know. I'll probably go with Draco, Fire Blast, Dark Pulse, but depending on the team, I might run Flash Cannon. I would try this thing out. I think that this is going to be really, really fun and definitely going to be one of the things I run for sure. I also think that you can run a set with like maybe Stealth Rock, Thunder Wave. I mean, this thing does get a lot of support options like that. However, it did lose access to Roost, like I said. Joey was telling me that he could see a set like this because Hydreigon gets crazy shit like this. This is like a fake Garchomp. You know how we used to have fake Knight in Gen 8? We would always run the Ice Fang, Earthquake, Hydreigon. Well, this is fake Chomp. Stealth Rock, Dragon Dance, Scale Shot, EQ. I think you'll definitely see this in a video from me because this is powerful. Joey might have been spitting with this one, but yeah, Hydreigon's gonna be cool with Stealth Rocks, guys. I'm really excited for that one. Let's move on to the next one. Another agency favorite. The doctor put us onto this one. Shout out Joey. So, Crocodile with Gunk Shot. So, Crocodile is a mixed bag. On one hand, it did lose Knockoff, as a lot of Pokemon did, but it does get Gunk Shot, which is pretty cool. That being said, I don't know if Gunk Shot alone can outweigh losing Knockoff, which was one of the best stab moves that, you know, any Pokemon can ask for. Especially a physical attacker like Crocodile. Crocodile has always had a really good stat distribution to me. 117 attack, 92 speed. Defenses or whatever, but the HP is good. I mean, regardless of like whatever your BST is, as long as your good stats are like good, then, you know, it's fine. And Crook's typing is really good too. The ability has always been nice. Gunk Shot will be cool. Now I can hit fairy types. It can, you know, hit Clefables. It can hit all the Tapus when they come around. You can hit bulky grass types too. So I think that's pretty cool. You do have to run Darkest Lariat now over Knockoff. It's cool that this does go through stat changes, but you know, it's tough. That being said, Gunk Shot is pretty cool still. You are going to be able to take on the fairy types, but Crook doesn't change too much besides that. I don't know, you could run Stealth Rock still, and you could have Gunk Shot. That might be pretty nice, right? I could actually see something like this getting usage in the meta, no lie. Gunk Shot, Stealth Rock, Taunt, and then unfortunately you cannot knock off, but you could run some type of support, maybe even Toxic. This might seem crazy because it's like no ground move. Never mind, this is literally crazy. How can I be walled by Heat Train? Either way, I'll find out the last move in due time, folks. I do think Gunk Shot, Stealth Rock has some type of merit. But yeah, like I said, Crook doesn't change too much. Lost Knockoff, got access to Gunk Shot. It'll be cool to get through fairies, but yeah, other than that, nothing too crazy. Let's move on to the next Pokemon, Moltres Galar. So Galar Moltres gets access to Tailwind now. So I do think this is going to be really great in VGC probably because Moltres is already a great mon. The ability is fantastic. Has Nasty Plot, Hurricane, Fiery Wrath is amazing too. I mean, Moltres is a cool mon. I don't got to really explain it in OU either. It has one or two sets. The Heavy Duty Boots set and then the Rest set. So yeah, Double Dance or you running the Rest Double Dance. Either way, Moltres is hard to beat, you know. Tailwind is going to be good in VGC, though, support the rest of your team. In OU, I do think agility, for the most part, is going to be superior. But, I mean, you could run Tailwind on some type of, like, suicide offense, like, super offensive team, and it'll help the rest of your team, but I don't know. I mean, Tailwind can never be bad. Tailwind is really awesome, so you can definitely find merit for it, but this is definitely more of a VGC tech than an OU tech. So, that being said, I don't really have much else to say about this guy, but we're not out of Pokemon. There's a lot more to talk about. So next up, we have none other than Bisharp. Now, Bisharp, one of our favorites. You can always use Black Sludge on him. Remember that, folks. But unfortunately, Bisharp did lose Knockoff, and it's forced to use Throat Chop now. So Bisharp actually did not get buffs. Besides, yeah, so like it actually got no buffs. So throat chop, yeah. I just wanted to put this in there because Bisharp was a prominent mon in every gen, and even though this isn't a buff, it is a nerf, and it is a change in Bisharp. That's really all I got to say about Bisharp. Next, we have one I'm very excited for, Samurott Hisuian. Alright, I actually have to change servers because the Hisuian Pokemon aren't on the main Showdown server yet. So anyway, we got Samurott Hisuian now. Samurott Hisuian's ability is called Sharpness, I believe. And what Sharpness does is it gives it a 1.5 boost to a lot of its moves. Razor Shell is now 1.5 boosted, so that makes it 112.5 base power. So that's extremely, extremely strong. We also have, what's it called? Sacred Sword, which is now 135 base power, making it even stronger than Close Combat and High Jump Kick, which are the strongest fighting type moves that come to mind besides Focus Punch. And then other than that, it gets access to its signature move, Ceaseless Edge. Ceaseless Edge's base power is not 95, I believe it's a little bit less, but regardless, it is still boosted by this sharpness, and it sets up spikes. So I think Samurott Hisuian has some amazing, amazing shit it can use. I mean, all of its moves are boosted, right? Razor Shell has a 50% chance to lower the target defense by 1. You know how cool that is? You know how spammable that is? Think about if Clefable comes in. You already do a shit ton, right? Because it's boosted by sharpness, and then you drop the defense cooked. This is fire. Like, these 3 moves alone are heat. I think other than that, I don't know. I don't think you should even run Swords Dance for the most part. I would run Scarf, personally. With Razor Shell having a 50% chance to drop, I would run Scarf or Banded only. Last move, you can run Mega Horn. You can run, I don't think there's anything better than Ceaseless Edge. Oh, actually, it gets Sucker Punch. So you'd probably run that. Even on Scarf, Sucker Punch sounds really nice because there's going to be a lot of ghosts in this meta, and Samurott isn't exactly the fastest Pokemon, even with a Jolly Nature, nor is it the strongest. But I'm really, really, really excited for this mon, guys. I do think it's going to be... It's going to be a blast to use. Like, they really pimped this mon out, gave it a... Because Samurott was always one of those forgotten mons, right? The design is awesome. I love Samurott's design. I'm sure it has a lot of fans design-wise. But competitively, this guy always fell off. Even as like a special attacker, 100 is really bad, but it had great tools. I remember Hydro Pump, Ice Beam, Grass Knot. I would see this thing get usage in NU. And then I would even see Swords Dance, Mega Horn, Aqua Jet, fun stuff like that. Even in Gen 7 with a Z move. But it was never too good. Samurott always was held back too much. Now, Water, Dark, super fire moves that all get boosted by a crazy new ability. A signature move that sets up Spike. Like, come on. Samurott is gonna be the one. Like, this is the new Mr. Craw for now. For now, this is, I might have to call him Mr. Samurott instead of Mr. Craw. We'll be back with Samurott. But yeah, this guy, I'm very, very excited to use it. Definitely gonna be one of the first Pokemon I use. Swords Dance, Mega Horn, Sucker Punch, all these other options. But for the most part, these 3 moves are gonna be the ones you see for sure. So Samurott gonna be a huge threat. Can't wait for that. All right. So next up, we have Overquill. So another amazing design, and one of the Hisuian Pokemon. Overquill is going to be available in Generation 9 OU. This guy actually does get access to quite a lot of cool things. So sure off the bat, for those of you who are not familiar with Overquill's stats, they're not too bad. 85 HP is good, 95 defense is pretty great as well. Abilities, it does get Intimidate, which is nice, so at least it'll be able to switch into some physical attacks. It's not weak to fighting type despite being a dark type, which is really great. 115 attack is nice, and 85 speed is also really solid for a mon like this. So moveset wise, he does get access to quite some good stuff. Got Gunk Shot, Crunch, Toxic Spikes. I know it says illegal here, obviously, but it's just not loaded on there. But yeah, Toxic Spikes, Spikes, Gunk Shot, Crunch. It even has a lot of water type moves like Aqua Jet and Liquidation that, you know, Quillfish and regular, what's it called? All the shit got back in the day. Sorry, the old one. This is the new one though. But yeah, it gets access to the water moves, but I don't really think those are worth it. If you're running it on a rain team, sure, but honestly, you might as well just run the other Quillfish if you're gonna run on a rain team, because I mean, that's a water type. I do think we're gonna see some nice stuff though. T-Spike, Spikes, Taunt, Gunk Shot. This guy's cool. We're gonna see some Overquill. I mean, a Pokemon can never be bad if it has access to Toxic Spikes and Spikes. Like, those are some of the greatest moves you can ask for. Hazard moves are the best. So definitely excited for Overquill. Intimidate has not been nerfed, even though, you know, that was the rumor. So it's gonna be nice seeing that. Alright, so moving on from Overquill and the Hisuian guys, we're gonna go back to the regular mons. Alright, next up we have a old threat from Gen 8. Now this guy, he was always the middle of the road threat in Gen 8. Crazy in UU. I know he was crazy in UU. A very confusing mon, because the stats of this guy are epic, right? 105 HP, 105 defense, 95 SPDF. Incredibly good defenses. Typing defensively, though, is horrible. It's like they gave him the most weaknesses possible with Dark Grass. 120 attack is great. 105 speed is just faster than quite a lot of stuff. Urshifu and Lele, to be specific, back in Gen 8 OU. Anyways, Zarude's problem was that it didn't have a great setup move. It only had access to bulk up, which means it didn't get strong enough, fast enough. But now it has access to Swords Dance. So I do think that Zarude is going to be pretty heat with Swords Dance. You're going to run Power Whip. He's always going to have his Darkest Lariat. Close Combat is a must as well. Is there any better? No. I think I ran Darkest Lariat too back then, yeah. I really think Zarude's going to be heat with SD. I mean, it was already good with choiced sets. I used to run Bandit in OU, if you guys remember that great Zarude melodic team I used to run. I really loved that team in OU. Got really high on the ladder with it. But yeah, SD Zarude's going to be heat. We might even see a SD jungle healing set, because jungle healing will never be a bad move. Recovering 25% is kind of whatever, but when you also cure your status, allows you to switch into Scalds really easily. And SD, I love the idea of SD on Zarude, because instead of going for bulk up, which the thing is with bulk up, yeah, it's cool to get the defense boost, but you're not getting strong quick enough. You need to SD. This is going to be an offensive meta. You need to get the SD immediately and start breaking shit. Bulk up, it doesn't matter. You're not going to be strong enough at +1, and the opponent's going to get the advantage on you. So Zarude getting Swords Dance, I think this really helps it a lot, and I'm really excited to see how the metagame, or how Zarude, you know, kind of finds its place in the metagame with this. Because like I said, stat distribution on Zarude is amazing. The 105 speed is really good. I think that's, like, with SD now, it becomes pretty cool. Alright, so past Zarude, we got some more lower tier threats. Skuntank has access to Toxic Spikes now, which is cool. It's Poison Dark, like I said, with, what was his face? Overquill, fantastic typing. Unfortunately, Skuntank can't do anything better than Overquill, except it has a nice ability with Aftermath. But yeah, Skuntank, I mean, but it's a lower tier mon, right? Like I said, so it'll still have its Sucker Punch, Aftermath, Fire Blast, all that bullshit that makes, you know, Skuntank. Skuntank is fun. You know, he always gets the job done in lower tiers, and sometimes you go crazy with the Sucker Punch, Aftermath, Fire Blast. I know the vibes. Tyranitar next. Tyranitar did not get access to anything heat like Knockoff or Sucker Punch, even though we've been asking for 400,000 years. Instead, he got access to Power Gem, which is extremely confusing, but whatever, we'll take it. I believe Power Gem is like 80 base power, special move. Not sure why they gave this to Tyranitar. It's just funny, if anything, but hey, maybe we'll see someone find out a usage for Tyranitar running Power Gem. I can't see it personally. I don't think it would ever be better than Stone Edge, but hey, maybe we'll see it on the rare specs Tyranitar. Yeah, so moving on, we got Umbreon. Everybody knows that I'm a super big Umbreon fan, even brought it to a tournament game in Gen 8 OU, and it won. Umbreon is epic. You know, I've always thought it was great mon in OU. Its defenses are beautiful. You go max HP, max Phys Def usually in my experience, and look at this distribution. You get 394 HP, 350 defense, and 296 SPDF. It's just very, very good. 65 speed is not even that bad either. You can tech it and run a little bit of speed. Umbreon's always been really nice. Pure Dark typing is great too. You're weak to Bug, you're weak to Fairy, you're weak to Fighting, but you also have good immunities too, like Psychic, resist Ghost, you resist Dark. I've always really liked Umbreon. I always even use this guy a lot to check Weaviles, because if it wasn't banded, then I could take +2 triple axe, so I could go for Foul Play. Anyway, Umbreon, what's he got? Oh, well, let me tell you. Thunder Wave and Calm Mind. These are actually both amazing. Thunder Wave is great because Umbreon would always get taken advantage of by special attackers if it didn't have Toxic, right? So you would always get taken advantage of by stuff like Magic Guard Clefable, Magic Guard Reuniclus, and just in general, anything. I mean, Umbreon, in my experience, I didn't have room for a status move because I'd be running Wish, Protect, Heal Bell, Foul Play. So a lot of times I'd get set up on by random special attackers. Now, if I have Thunder Wave, even stuff like Clefable coming in for free on me, no chance. Like I said, getting Thunder Wave, I like this a lot. Think if Hydreigon came in on me, Thunder Wave. Any Dark type came in on me, Thunder Wave. Oh, this is going to be fire. I think we're going to see a lot of Thunder Wave. Calm Mind is going to be cool because it gives Umbreon the ability to do some like weird stall set with like Wish, Calm Mind, Dark Pulse, but I don't know. This actually could be viable with Cheese. I'm not going to lie. As long as Haze isn't too omnipresent, this can always be viable with Cheese because Umbreon's hard to kill. This could be like in Gen 6 with Calm Mind, Sableye, but I don't know. We'll see. I do think Thunder Wave is going to go crazy, though, on Umbreon. The guy's unkillable. We all know that. We've all been in a situation where it's like, please, Umbreon, why can't I one-hit KO you? And then you get packed up. But, yeah, Thunder Wave Umbreon will be the one. And finally, we have one last guy. My boy Sableye in PU. Probably going to be in, like, ZU in the new one. Anyway, he gets Giga Drain. Yeah, Sableye has 65 base special attack, so this will only be seen if you counter team your opponent and you see into the future. You know they're going to have a Swampert or Barboach or whatever the fuck, and you have a Giga Drain Sableye for that reason. That's the only reason you'd ever have a Giga Drain Sableye. But I had to include it because it is true. It is a buff. It did get Giga Drain. And that being said, that's all I got on the list for today. So guys, let me know in the comments below what you thought about this list. If anything was, you know, really, really crazy to you, what do you think you're going to be using first? And let me know if I missed anything. There's any dark type buffs that you saw that you think are pretty notable. For me, my favorites are obviously Urshifu, Hydreigon, Umbreon is up there too, and then Samurott Hisuian. I'm using that guy day one, because he's just 2 heat with his new ability. There's 3 super boosted moves. The signature move that gets up Spike, like, you really cannot ask for him. Sucker Punch, oh, it's just too much. But hope you guys enjoyed. Drop a big like, subscribe as well. I'll be streaming later. Peace.